and welcome to Brackley for this, the launch of the RA108. Would you please put your hands together and welcome our host for this morning, the Chief Executive Officer of Honda F1 Racing, Nick Fry, and Yasuhiro Wada, the General Manager of Honda Motorsport.
Good morning, everybody, and add my welcome to Honda Racing Base here in Northamptonshire in England. It's great to see so many of you here today. We've got a selection of people from Honda companies around the world, which are great for us to see. A lot of our media friends and representatives, in fact, from most of the 39 team partners that you see displayed here on the wall. We really wanted to try and do this launch just a little bit differently from what we've done in the past, and that's in two respects. Firstly, to do it here at our team base. We thought it would be interesting for people who maybe aren't so familiar with a Formula One team to see the extent of Honda's investments here in Brackley and in the UK. And this really now is a state-of-the-art facility for Formula One and race car development, and we wanted for you to see that. Second thing is for you actually to see the car in its racing colours actually after it had completed its shakedown test last week, and we thought it was somewhat more interesting for you to hear from the three drivers actually after they'd had just a little bit of experience in the car. So you'll be hearing from them later. Obviously, 2007 was a year which failed to meet any of our expectations. And obviously, as a result of that, there has been significant change in the team over the last 6 months. Really a process of what I would call accelerated evolution. We've changed a lot, but really what we've tried to do is to address the issues and to bring experience to the team. And I would bring out three different areas. Firstly, the whole design philosophy of the car that you're about to see is just completely different. It's different in every respect. The thinking behind it is different, and by the time we get to Melbourne, in fact, every component on the car will be different from what we had on the car last year. Secondly, obviously, is a big change in team personnel. And again, we've tried to bring a lot of experience to the team in really all the major disciplines. So the aerodynamic team is under completely different leadership, some very strong and experienced people in that area. The actual design engineering of the car has been significantly reinforced, and in fact the race engineering as well, and that's all under the leadership and auspices of the hugely experienced and very successful Ross Brawn, who you're going to hear from in a few minutes. The third element of change is evolution of our My Earth Dream theme to simply Earth Dreams, and what we tried to do there is just evolve the idea from awareness of the issues surrounding global warming to projects that actually are going to make a difference. And we've broadened the remit, and we started distributing money to projects who are going to use, in Honda terms, the power of dreams to actually change things in their environment. And in the last few weeks, I've written checks for $700,000 to different organizations around the world that look after the marine environment, the forestry environment, some urban environments, and you can get details of who we've been distributing money to later, and over the next few weeks we'll be distributing another $500,000. So a lot of change, hopefully all for the better. On that note, I will hand you over to Wada-san, who is going to say a few words from Honda Motor Company point of view. Wada-san.
Thanks, Nick. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming this new car launch. Just let me say a few words on behalf of Honda. As you know, last season, 2007, was very difficult and disappointing year for us. But that is now behind us. At Honda, we always ask people to challenge to the limit and highest target, and never to fear the making a mistake. The mistakes are natural things when you are targeting high, but I only accept once. More important things is how to learn from a mistake we made and moving forward. That's the task for this year. This year, with some new faces and new ideas, we must move forward. I'm very pleased with the new steps and have been put into place to strengthen our engineering capability teams and gain maximum benefit from our R&D facility in Japan. This new car going to launch soon is big evolution from last year. And we also have evolution of My Earth Dream marking concept as well. This year, for sure, we wish to reward the great many Honda fans around the world with improved performance as we follow our racing dreams. Thank you very much today. Thank you. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you very much. Yasuhiro Wada and Nick Fry, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope as they return to their seats, the earplugs are there. And I hope your earplugs are by you as well, because yes, it is now time to put them on. It's time to introduce to you the Honda Challenger for the 2008 Formula One season, the RA108. Ladies and gentlemen, the RA108. Well done, guys. We'll meet the drivers in a few moments' time, but to tell us more about the new car, please welcome our new team principal, Mr. Ross Brawn. Morning, Ross.
Morning, everybody.
It's great to see the new car. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Well, the team obviously had a very difficult year last year, and I think they've had an extremely intelligent response to the problems they had. I think the primary difficulty with last year's car was that it produced a lot of downforce, but it was in a very aggressive way. The car was very sensitive to pitch and roll. So it meant it was extremely difficult for the drivers to use those levels of downforce. So the focus with this car has been to make sure that we produce the aerodynamic downforce in a much more friendly way, much more usable way. We've also slimmed down the chassis, changed some of the layout of the car to give a lot more potential, particularly with aerodynamic development for the future, because it's going to be a very, very intense season of development for us, a lot of new ideas, and we wanted the car to be able to accept a wide range of changes through the season. The car you see here is really very much a base spec that was established back in October, November, and you'll see over the next few months before we get to Melbourne, there'll be some quite dramatic changes in the car. New engine cover, new floor, new wings, new barge boards and area around there. So this is very much a starting spec and good program before Melbourne.
So plenty to do before March the 16th. You've also had to incorporate a few minor regulation changes for 2008 as well.
Yes, the engine stayed pretty much the same because of the frozen engine regulations, although we've got a new airbox and new exhausts to suit the new car. There's an addition of some biofuel this year. Just over 5% of biofuel is allowed, so there's a change there. There's some changes to driver safety. You can see the cockpit sides are higher, and that gives better protection to the driver. Probably the two major changes, two major challenges are with the standard electronic package and the 4-race gearbox. And that's what we've been concentrating on towards the end of the year, and we'll be concentrating on this winter. The standard electronics package removes a lot of the driver aids, so traction control, some of the strategies we use for starts, engine braking. So those things have changed, and because we can't change the engine physically, it's quite a challenge to develop new maps and new strategies to make the engine as drivable as possible. 4-race gearbox, for us, was not a huge change. Fortunately, we've got a gearbox dynamometer at Honda, so we were able to develop the gearbox over the winter. And it's a little bit heavy, a little bit tougher than last year's box, but last year's box was pretty good. And with some developments, we're confident we'll be able to do the 4-race cycle.
Now, we launched today after a shakedown at Valencia last week. Did that go well?
Yes. Yeah, I think obviously a new car, drivers very much looking forward to driving a new car. But it has to be said, this is a pretty base spec. We've got a well-structured program between here and Melbourne. And the main objectives of the Valencia test was to check out the systems, sort out the reliability, or start the program of reliability, and just make sure everything functioned well. And we were very pleased. The test built up over the 3 days. And I must say, for a new car, touch wood, it had fewer problems than any I've experienced in recent years. So I was very pleased with the first running of the car.
So as a team principal then, for 2008, what are your performance targets that you're setting?
Well, we have to get back into a respectable position. Obviously, 2007 was a very difficult year for the team. So our ambitions are to progress positively each stage. And as long as we're progressing, then we'll be happy. We need to get back to a respectable point scoring position in 2008 and then build from there. So that's our objectives. Make sure each step is clearly understood, each step is positive, and that we can start to score points again.
And I don't know if you still think of yourself as the new boy at Honda now. You've been here a few months. How are you settling in, and what are your impressions of the team so far?
Extremely positive. I mean, the attitude and commitment of the people here is first class, and I'm very confident that maintaining that attitude and commitment that we're going to be able to go forward. What's clear is that we have huge potential in lots of different areas. Potential in Japan, potential in the UK, a lot of very enthusiastic, keen, skilled people, and it's my role to help pull all of that together and get everyone going in the right direction. There's been huge enthusiasm in the past, but perhaps all the efforts have not been coordinated as well as they might. And for everyone to sign up to Honda as the team, we're working for Honda, and we all need to pull in the same direction.
Well, let's hope 2008 is a great success. Ross, thank you for joining us today.
Okay, thank you, David.
Ross Brawn, ladies and gentlemen. One thing is for certain, in 2008, Honda will field the most experienced driver lineup on the Formula One grid. So I think it's high time that we met our drivers and get their thoughts for the season ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, our drivers. Ladies and gentlemen, Jenson Button, Rubens Barrichello, and the man who's been sat in the cockpit of the RA108 this morning, our latest signing, the team's new reserve and test driver, Alex Burt. At last, Alex is freed from the car. Rubens, we'll turn to you first because you're the man who got to drive the car first. How was it?
It was great. It's always a great pleasure to drive the car, and it was like burning inside my stomach, you know, that feeling of driving the car. It was a shakedown. I've only completed 30 laps, and it felt well, felt balanced. It was some still aerodynamic parts missing, so it was just a shakedown. I think next week is the one that starts to count.
Even at the start of your 16th season in Formula One, there's a burning desire in your stomach, yeah?
It's funny, but it's you know, it's like the beginning for me. I you know, when I tend to stay too long in Brazil, I just tend to overdrive the car on the road. So I miss driving, and it's 16th with pleasure.
It's a big year for you, 2008. You will become, touch wood, the most experienced driver of all time in Formula One, passing Riccardo Patrese. What race will you break the record?
Well, so many people think that it's going to be one race or the other, but I think it's going to be Turkey that we're going to break the record, and I'm very honored because Patrese was one of the heroes of my childhood. I was watching them the races on the TV, and so I'm very proud to go on that record.
We wish you all the best for it, Rubens. Jensen, good morning to you. Fair to say that you're hoping for a slightly better year in 2008 than the last 12 months?
Yeah, for sure. 2007, as everybody knows that's in here, was a very tough year for us. But in a way, I think it was a good year. I think it made us realize that a few things need to change, that we're going maybe in the wrong direction. And we've had the chance to put them right. So I'm looking forward to 2008, and not just 2008, but the future with Honda, and very excited.
A lot of people looking forward to seeing some good performances from Rubens and yourself. What do you want from yourself for the next year?
Well, for me, the important thing is the improvement throughout the season. It's all well starting with a reasonably competitive car, but it's improving that's the key, I feel. And for us to improve race by race compared to our competitors is what we need to do. And that's what we're aiming for.
And from there, after 2008, is anything possible?
Well, yeah, the final aim has to be to challenge for the World Championship. I think that's everyone's aim in Formula One. But for us, it's definitely possible. And that's my personal aim, and I know it's everyone's aim within the team. So, hopefully it's sooner rather than later. But first of all, we've got to work with this car, and as I said, the important thing is to improve race by race, and that is necessary to have a good car for next season.
Just briefly, from a driver's perspective, tell us about the loss of traction control this year. Will it make a huge difference?
I think it will for the racing. I think it's going to add a little bit of excitement for the racing. I think for drivers getting used to it, some drivers it's going to take a little bit longer than others. But by the time we get to the first race, we're all experienced. We can all put up with not having traction control. We've driven with it before in other categories. But it does mean you have to work a lot harder with the engine management and also the drivability of the engine. So we're working very hard on that. We've already improved a lot, but there's still, for everyone, I think, on the grid, a long way to go with helping the drivability, because it's not easy trying to plant this much power onto the circuit. But we're doing a good job, I think.
I read a quote from yourself, Rubens, about the loss of traction control, saying you're like a kid with a brand new toy. Is that right?
Yeah, that's very much right. It was so much fun to drive it without the traction control, and I think even on the wet. I mean, some people might think it's got to be a little bit more dangerous, but I think we have the proper tires, and so it's more fun. We have more command of the car.
Just one more question for Jensen. We have a new livery, of course, reflecting the Earth Dreams program. What do you reckon?
Well, I think it looks good. The idea behind it is fantastic, and it is an evolution of what we had last season. And I think Nick has already spoken about the ideas that we have and the action that is going to be taken. So it's very exciting. But from the racing point of view, personally, I think the car looks very good. But more importantly, we have to make sure that the underneath is good also. That's the more important bit for me.
Well, one man helping you to achieve that is Alex Wirtz. Alex, welcome to Honda. How are you settling in?
Yeah, settling fine. I know many faces from previous teams who came here. And in the end, I don't actually want or need time to settle in. I want to start immediately with working on the car, engine, drivability, just to bring my part to the team's track attack.
And you get to attack the track next week in the test, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I already drove the old car, the 107. I will now this week drive in Barcelona, this beauty here. I'm looking very much forward to this. I didn't have that much driving yet without traction control, but I got an idea, as Jensen said, on how to handle it. And again, looking forward, getting really behind the wheel and doing what I really sincerely love doing, is testing and developing race cars.
What was it about Honda, Alex, that attracted you back into Formula One after you said you were going to retire from race driving?
Yeah, after I said there's too much race driving in my career, I basically, like Ross said it before, it's the spirit of Honda, the racing history they have. together with the constellation of many very good, clever people coming here. On top of it, it might sound strange, but with the team having had this recession in the last year, I know I want to be there when the team moves forward. I want to give my little bit of efficiency to that team and dig very hard in and work. You know, that's really what I'm just love doing, and isn't it nice that I'm just enjoying it?
And am I right in saying all your previous Formula One teams have been World Championship winners? I don't know if that's an omen for the future or not.
Yeah, so far my teams in Formula One only have been World Championship winning. Honda did World Championships before in Formula One and other racing series, of course. But yeah, let's hope we turn it this way. I'm sure Rubens and Jensen, Nick, everyone will be happy about that. And my track record then would stay at 100%.
Best of luck for this season. Rubens, Jensen and Alex, ladies and gentlemen. Our driver lineup, though, is far from complete. For 2008, we have 2 more additions. So please will you welcome to the stage Honda's young drivers for 2008, Luca Filippi and Mike Conway. Morning, Mike. Welcome back. Second year with the team.
That's right, yeah. I've really enjoyed working with the team so far, and just want to build on that and progress forward. And it was great to get out in the new car last week at Valencia. Great to get the opportunity, so I'm looking forward to more of that in the future.
And Luca, welcome along to Honda. Like Mike, you'll be testing for the team, but also competing in GP2 for the forthcoming season. What are your expectations there?
This is a fantastic opportunity for me, and it's a real pleasure to be here. I have to thank Honda for the confidence they have in me, and I think it will be also a very good help for me in my GP2 season, and I hope to give them a little help for developing the new car.
Excellent stuff. Luca and Mike, thank you very much for joining us. Our driver lineup, ladies and gentlemen, for 2008. But before we conclude this morning, I'd like to welcome back to the stage our management team, Yasuhiro Wada, Nick Fry and Ross Brawn.
Well, that ends the formal part of the presentation. I'd just like to thank you all for coming here today. From me, from our 5 drivers, from members of the management, we have 650 people here who have worked very hard to get this together. Thank you from them, and thank you from everyone at Honda. Thank you very much indeed.